Hello, and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here's today's top headlines. Thank you for being with us. News story number 1. Bill Richardson, a two-term Democratic governor of New Mexico and an American ambassador to the United Nations who dedicated his post-political career to working to secure the release of Americans detained by foreign adversaries, has died. He was 75 years old. The Richardson Center for Global Engagement, which he founded and led, said in a statement Saturday that he died in his sleep at his home in Chatham, Massachusetts. In quotes, "He lived his entire life in the service of others, including both his time in government and his subsequent career helping to free people held hostage or wrongfully detained abroad," end quotes, said Mickey Bergman, the center's vice president. In quotes, "There was no person that Governor Richardson would not speak with if it held the promise of returning a person to freedom. The world has lost a champion for those held unjustly abroad, and I have lost a mentor and a dear friend." End quotes. Next news. News story number 2. An effort to guarantee access to abortion rights in Ohio, a November ballot measure, is already fueling misleading claims about how it could influence abortion care, gender-related health care, and parental consent in the state. The proposed constitutional amendment would give Ohioans the right to make their own reproductive decisions, backers say. Backers say that since Roe v. Wade was overturned last year by the U.S. Supreme Court, the proposal would restore a common-sense abortion protection that most Ohio voters can support. Next news. News story number 3. As sirens blared across the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and cell phones lit up with alerts of an active shooter, Micah Baldonado cried quietly at his desk while his teacher proceeded with the lecture. In quotes, "I know there's no right way to react, but I just lost it." End quotes, he said. Also in quotes, "I couldn't hold back tears. My teacher actually kept teaching for maybe 30 minutes even after receiving alerts of an active shooter." End quotes. The senior from Charlotte said rumors spread quickly across campus during a 3-hour lockdown and police manhunt on August 28th, resulting in the arrest of a UNC graduate student. Next news. News story number 4. 7 weeks after catastrophic flooding in Vermont destroyed their mobile home, Sarah Morris and her family don't yet know what they will do for housing long term. She and her husband, their 3 kids, and his mother have been staying with Morris's mother since the flooding mangled their home, boring a hole through the side and leaving it tilted in layers of mud. With winter fast approaching, some Vermonters hit by the July flooding are still deep in the throes of flood recovery, whether finding a place to live or repairing their homes or businesses. Next news. News story number 5. A Florida redistricting plan pushed by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis violates the state constitution and is prohibited from being used for any future U.S. congressional elections since it diminishes the ability of black voters in North Florida to pick a representative of their choice. A state judge ruled Saturday. Circuit Judge J. Lee Marsh sent the plan back to the Florida legislature with instructions that lawmakers should draw a new congressional map that complies with the Florida Constitution. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Welcome to the world of Millennium News 24. We bring news, we analyze news, and we make a bridge between you and the eventful world. 24/7 Millennium News 24 team is at your service. Don't miss Todd Goldfinger's show, Goldfinger Music Hour, Noon News with host Todd Goldfinger. Millennium News 24 is available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Millennium TV 24 News you need to know.
Hello, and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. News story number 6. Tim Scott seldom specifically brings up race in Iowa, nor does the Republican presidential candidate have to. He's often the only black person at his campaign events in the state. The South Carolina senator introduces himself as the product of early life mentors who taught him not to be bitter. When race comes up, he often says the United States is not fundamentally racist. In quotes, "We don't have black poverty or white poverty, we have poverty," end quotes. He told an all-white audience Thursday in Oskaloosa after being asked about race. He earlier had spoken about his poor Southern upbringing and his late grandfather, born into Jim Crow-era South Carolina. Next news. News story number 7. Representative Steve Scalise, the number 2 House Republican, said Tuesday he has been diagnosed with a form of blood cancer known as multiple myeloma and is undergoing treatment. Scalise, 57, said he will continue to serve in the House. He described the cancer as very treatable and said it was detected early. The Louisiana Republican was among several people wounded in 2017 when a rifle-wielding attacker fired on lawmakers on a baseball field in Alexandria, Virginia, outside Washington. Scalise was shot in the hip and endured lengthy hospitalizations, multiple surgeries, and painful rehabilitation. Next news. News story number 8. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Sunday he wants Eritrean migrants involved in a violent clash in Tel Aviv to be deported immediately and has ordered a plan to remove all of the country's African migrants. The remarks came a day after bloody protests by rival groups of Eritreans in South Tel Aviv left dozens of people injured. Eritreans, supporters and opponents of Eritrea's government, faced off with construction, lumber, pieces of metal, and rocks, smashing shop windows and police cars. Israeli police in riot gear shot tear gas, stun grenades, and live rounds while officers on horseback tried to control the protesters. Next news. News story number 9. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will meet with Vladimir Putin on Monday, hoping to persuade the Russian leader to rejoin the Black Sea grain deal that Moscow broke off from in July. Here are some key things to know and what's at stake. The meeting in Sochi, on Russia's southern coast, comes after weeks of speculation about when and where the two leaders might meet. The Kremlin refused to renew the grain agreement 6 weeks ago. The deal, brokered by the United Nations and Turkey in July 2022, had allowed nearly 33 million metric tons of grain and other commodities to leave 3 Ukrainian ports safely despite Russia's war. However, Russia pulled out after claiming that a parallel deal promising to remove obstacles to Russian exports of food and fertilizer hadn't been honored. Moscow complained that restrictions on shipping and insurance hampered its agricultural trade, even though it has shipped record amounts of wheat since last year. Next news. News story number 10. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz fell while jogging and sustained bruises to his face, prompting him to cancel some appointments this weekend, the government said Saturday. In an emailed response to a query about the incident, the government said that the 65-year-old German leader had a small sports accident and canceled appointments Sunday in the central Hesse region, where a state election is being held on October 8th, but it said his appointments next week won't be affected. The Hesse-based Frankfurter Rundschau newspaper first reported on Saturday's incident. It cited a prominent lawmaker with Scholz's center-left Social Democrats, Michael Roth, who had invited the chancellor to his hometown of Heringen and planned a discussion event with him there on Sunday. This has been the daily global English news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and I thank you for watching. Please log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. On TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers now on both network broadcasting, Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Also, all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment, our latest news, views, and editorials, our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24/7. We thank you. God bless you wherever you are. Have a peaceful day. Thank you.